Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 12:20 a.m. on this Saturday evening going into Sunday. It is 21 degrees outside. I am sitting to the side of the gas station here. I was just reading a bunch of tweets and I was tweeting. People are so nice. I'm just mesmerized regularly by the kindness of people, and people are so nice. I was just watching this video. Let me give a little shout out that somebody did this whole, did my whole intro. It was so cute. Hold on a second, this is Hannah, did this whole intro of mine, and it was so cute. And she acted like she was reading The Lonely Doll, but she made it about me, and she even included pee-pee in it, and it was just the sweetest thing in the entire world. I'm gonna open this LaCroix Blackberry Cucumber. I know I actually have my hair done, and I got a new hoodie that I'm wearing, and yeah, so let's go, let's talk. I have no idea what we're going to talk about tonight, but I'm sure we'll find something to talk about. Just dropped my husband off. He took the dogs out, and then he was going to bed. We went over to our friend's house tonight, another couple, and we were going to play games with them and stuff, but we ended up just kind of sitting around and talking, and they just recently got married, and it was fun. Alex brought a salad, his famous Greek salad that he makes, and I brought chips and left them in the car and totally forgot to bring them inside until later. And then they had ordered pizza, and they were so nice. They ordered me like a veggie lovers pizza, and then they had like a veggie tray with hummus. And do you ever try something that you haven't had in a while and you forget how much you really like it? They have these not huge sticks, but zucchini cut up in fourths and I was eating it with hummus, and I was like, this is so delicious. So I filled myself up with veggies, and I had 3 pieces of pizza. I actually ate the cheese pizza because it looked more delicious. They were eating the veggie pizza anyway, so. And I had a cupcake and just a bunch of crap. We had fun. We played this one game for a little bit that Alex brought that's called Incoherent. And I've got to turn my phone thing off here in a second. But Alex brought a bunch of games, and he brought this one called Incoherent, which is where Incoherent is what it's called, H-E-A-R, where you hold the card up and it has, you sound it out and then you have to guess what it says. I'm horrible at that game. And then, what was the other game that we were playing? I can't even remember. Silly games, but we didn't end up playing games for very long. We sat around and talked and played with our dogs and stuff like that. It was kind of a nice evening, and we didn't stay late. I think I dropped Alex off at I think we left their house about 11:15 or 11:30 maybe. But anyway, it was a nice evening, and so yeah, Alex had to work today. He had a bunch of work stuff he had to do. And then I slept in. I'll tell you why in a second. And then I slept in because I stayed up way too late last night. And then I went to Starbucks and got my coffee. I've got to pull in here I want to see this one restaurant though that my friend was telling me about the other day. She said there's this Thai restaurant over here in the strip mall. She said that they have the best vegetarian. Every week they do a buffet, she said. There's this car coming around the corner super fast. She said every week they do a buffet, but one time a month they do a vegetarian buffet. And she said it's really, really good. And she said it's like there's never anybody there. So I wanted to see what this restaurant was called. Maybe Thai Taste, that's what it's called here. Oh, I was like, is it out of business? Oh no, it's only on one side. It is really small. Gosh. Like super, super small. Thai Taste, I've never heard of it. Oh, I was gonna turn this off. I have my display and brightness, my auto lock on never, because when I'm filming videos, so that I can, when I'm filming drama videos, I can refer to like my receipts, Whitney. Then I don't have to open and close my video. I also do that when I do reviews too, so I can read the thing, you know? Do you know what I really want? I didn't like it the first couple times I had it, but now I'm craving it. It's that boba tea. I would really like to have some boba tea, but I don't know where to get it. I looked on that around me in Indianapolis, and it's like not anywhere close to us do they have boba tea. I really like the color of this shirt. It looks nice with my hair, don't you think? Pops out my eyes a little bit too. Anyway, so I got up, did the review. I did this Shamrock tea. It was really good actually at Starbucks. Did the review of that, got my coffee. Then I went to the post office. I've got like 4 or 5 packages I have to show in the vlogs. They're all sitting on the kitchen counter. People sent me some really nice stuff, so I want to show it. I got a cup today, actually, from Barry that says my name on one side, a Starbucks cup that he had made specially for me. And on one side, it's like a clear plastic cup, like my Crime Time ones, you know? And on one side, it said, I thought somebody was calling me, but it just says phone ready. On one side, it says Peter. On the other side, it says Beast on it. It's really cool. So anyway, I went to the post office, and then I came home. Oh no, I stopped at Macy's. I went in and I got this hoodie because I wanted to wear something maybe a little new tonight and nice to go over to our friend's house. And then I came home and I filmed a drama video and got the other videos. Oh, I did a booktube video today too while I was driving around. While I was driving from Starbucks to the post office, I did a booktube video. And then I got home and I uploaded that stuff and washed my jeans, took a shower, got ready. Alex napped the whole afternoon while I was doing all that stuff. And so then he got up right before, like he wasn't gonna take a shower, he was just gonna throw in some clothes. So got all that stuff done, got my video ready to go and got it up. And then we left and headed over there. And that was kind of our day. It was nice. So last night, when I got done vlogging, I listened to like a half an hour of Elsewhere by Dean Koontz. And if you watched my vlog yesterday, things are going to drastically change, in my opinion, on that book, just so you know. Yesterday, I was like, I'm not really into this book. I was like, it's very quantum physics, not time travel, but parallel universes and stuff. I just was like, I'm not really into this book, you know? Well, I started listening to like another half an hour of it, and I was like, I'm so into this book. It is so good, you guys. It is action-packed. I literally cannot stop listening to it. It's so good. It's amazing. And so I listened to like a half an hour of it, but then I really wanted to watch. This girl is walking down like right down the middle of the road, my God. Then I wanted to watch the Delphi documentary that's on cable right now. So I went and watched that, and it's like each episode, it's 2 episodes, and each episode's like 47 minutes, I think, or something like that. So I watched those. It was really good. Very sad, very tragic. Could we turn our lights off so I'm not feeling like I'm spotlit out here? Very sad, very tragic. Very, I would say, cohesive with the story of the Delphi case here in Indiana. If you don't know the story, it's about Delphi, Indiana. It's honestly like an hour from here, an hour and a half, I think. And these 2 girls, one was 13, one was 14, they were best friends. I believe their names were Abby Williams and Liberty Germain. They were walking on this like bridge that went over this kind of like gully that was like in this park area, which is interesting because it's on the Monn. They said something about the Monn Park. Well, the Monn is like this old train track that in Indianapolis, they took the train track out and now it's a walking, like everybody in Indianapolis, if you said the Monn, they would know what it is. It's literally this like walking trail that goes from all the way downtown, all the way past the north side of Indianapolis. Like you can get on it and you could like run or ride your bike for like 20 miles in one direction. And it's like beautifully done and whatever, but it like the Monn was a train track, and so it goes like straight through Indiana. That's what they were talking about. And then it's also interesting because they were talking about Deer Creek. It happened right next to Deer Creek. Well, Deer Creek runs through Noblesville, which is where I go vlog, and which is why there used to be the amphitheater out there, the concert amphitheater, like the huge one that people come here and like in the summer to go outside, like play outside. It used to be, when I was in high school, it was called Deer Creek. Now it's called, it's changed names like 8 times. I don't know what it's called now. Maybe not 8 times, but like 5 times it's changed. It was Klipsch for a while, and I don't even know what it's called now. It's usually, like, it's bought by, like, some big company, and then it, like, changes to that name. But when I was growing up, it was called Deer Creek, and we still, like, if you're, like, my age, people still call it Deer Creek. They're like, are you going to see so-and-so at Deer Creek? Back in the day, that's where, like, the Grateful Dead, Dave Matthews played. I've seen tons of concerts out there. My graduation was there. So anyway, that was kind of interesting too, that it happened along there. I didn't really know a lot of facts of the case until I watched it, but I will tell you what's interesting is watching the documentary and being from Indiana. And the whole thing was done around this podcast. It's called Down the Hill, because the guy that supposedly murdered them, they have this audio clip of him saying, guys, down the hill. So there was this whole podcast by this man and this woman that was called Down the Hill. And so the whole documentary was done kind of around these people and their findings. And it interviewed like the grandparents and the parents, some of the parents, and the sister of Libby, who's very, very active in this case. Like she's trying to find out who did it and stuff. And it's fantastically done. And but the thing is so weird is that it's still a cold case. They haven't released anything about how the girls were killed. They haven't released a whole lot of things about it. So, and I got the impression, like they didn't ask them, but I got the impression, and I haven't watched enough interviews to know, that like even the mothers don't know how they were killed. There was a couple things that they like asked kind of around that, and I kind of got that impression that they didn't know. But I will tell you that actually this is interesting. I was looking some stuff up on YouTube afterwards, and this one psychic medium, she did a reading with, I think it's Libby's mother, you can look it up on YouTube. She actually called her. You can hear the mother in the background talking, and it's a bizarre reading. I've been to a lot of psychic mediums, and I have talked a lot about that on here. And there are all kinds of people just like walking on the side of the road and stuff, you guys. This is so weird. There's like 4 people over here, 2 people over here crossing the road. There was a guy just over there. This is just like weird. Why are all these people just like out on the road tonight? This is crazy. Anyway, so she does this psychic reading with her, but it's kind of bizarre to listen to. Like when you're listening to it, like she asks her a question, or she'll tell her like something that she's seen in her head, and then she explains why it's kind of like a little offsetting. She explains the whole time, like while she's doing it, she'll say, well, this is why they're showing me this, and my legs are tingling, which usually means that it's true. And then But she's like, the whole time she's like, do you have any questions for me? And I don't know, it's kind of a bizarre, it's bizarre. Anyway, I will tell you what's weird is I also went in and I watched Aphrodite's reading on it, which I had watched before. And I watched, there's this woman named Sloan. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but I watch her videos sometimes. She does like tarot card readings or psychic readings and stuff. Does she do tarot card readings? I think she just does psychic readings. And she did like, I found her because she did this John Benet Ramsey reading. There's something about her that I don't necessarily, like, she's not my favorite. But she's very specific in what she says, which I do like that about her. But what was weird was, it was almost, like, I watched hers first and then I watched Ant's after that. And it was almost and this, I mean, believe in what you believe in, right? I was just watching it for entertainment reasons or whatever, but also just to see what they said. What was interesting about her reading and his reading was that they kind of overlapped. Like, half the things that she said and half the things that he said were like on the same page. And then there were things that she said that he didn't pick up on, and he said things that she didn't pick up on, but that, like, if you had put their readings together, like, made a lot of sense. Like, it was just real bizarre. So, did you hear that snow hooked on my car, my tire? It's still making all this weird noise. So that was weird. So I watched those, and then I got really, really spooked, and let me tell you why. I know you guys are gonna be like, here he goes again. But I didn't really think anything about it at the time, honestly. I mean, it scared me, but I didn't really think anything about it at the time. I talked about this on here already. When I filmed my video for my Peter Does Stuff channel, where I went into the woods at Richie Woods up here, I got about half, if you watch the video, at one point I'm standing on the bridge at the very end, and then I just kind of turn around and I say, like, I'm gonna end this now and go back and whatever. Well, what happened was, all of a sudden I was standing on this bridge and this guy out of nowhere just started walking down the path, okay? And it totally, like, there had been this couple with a child, I don't know if it was, I think it was a daughter, but I'm not sure, and a dog, and they had gone in ahead of me. It was me, and it was them, and then there was a red pickup truck parked behind us. We were parked, like, in the parking lot. I wish it was during the day so I could show you. You can actually drive in there at night, but I'm not driving in there at night because I'll be too scared. So anyway, but, and then there was a pickup truck parked, like, back. And I thought the pickup truck, honestly, was like, there's like a park ranger for Richie Woods. I thought it was like the park ranger or something, right? So I didn't think much about it. And I thought, oh, it's just me and this other couple going in there. So when I went in there, like, they were right ahead of me, but there's, like, when you're walking on the main path, there's little paths that go off all the time. Like, you can go off the road into the woods this way, off the road in this way, right? So I kind of went off right when I went in there, and then I got back on the main road, and then I showed this building, and I had even made a comment. I said that's like where I would have been sitting by myself as a kid if we went on a field trip, because I never had any friends to sit next to on field trips. And then I walked down and I went to this bridge, and that was the farthest that I've ever been in Richie Woods before. And I don't know why, all of a sudden I kind of got scared. When I saw this guy, I was like, and he was walking really rather fast. And he had on a baseball hat pulled down real far, and he had on a blue coat. Now, okay, just pause for a second. It was like a bright blue coat, almost like a Colts coat. And then he had on, like, baggy jeans. And he was looking down like this, and he had his hands in his pockets. And he was, like, walking fast. And I honestly thought to myself, like, while I was filming, well, when he walks by me, you know, because, like, when I'm out in public and I'm vlogging or whatever, I always am very conscious of other people around me because I don't want to put them on camera if I don't have to. So I was like, when he walks by me, I'll just turn, like, this way, you know, and I'll just be like, hey, how are you, or whatever, you know, and I'll just pass by him. When I did it with, like, I went out there and I filmed in the fall when the leaves were out there, Like, there were a lot of people out there. And so when I would walk by somebody, I would just put it down in the leaves on the ground, and then I would pick it back up when they walked by me, if that makes sense, right? So to be honest with you, I didn't think much about it, but he was walking so fast, number one. Number two was, it literally was like I was looking over there, and it's kind of hard to explain that area, but it's like there's the bridge, and then it goes up, and it goes up for a while, and then it kind of drops, and I don't know what's after that, right? But he just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, one second I was standing on the bridge, and I was like, oh my God, like, it's so pretty, like, look at the river, it's frozen, and I was talking about, like, you know, I don't even know if I said this in the video, but, like, how we used to walk down on frozen rivers when I was a kid, because we had this creek behind our house, and it was always frozen, and we would follow it forever, right, and walk on the ice. And I literally looked up, and I almost am wondering if I didn't catch him at the end of the video and then cut that part off, because I turned around really quick. He was literally probably like 100 or 200 feet behind me. And I got freaked. And so, and I was so cold at that point that I turned my camera off, and I realized I didn't have my phone. I didn't bring my phone with me. And so I just started like booking it to my car. Well, I was probably a good half a mile to my car, and he was not slowing down. I mean, he was like walking really, really fast. And I mean, to tell you, I started walking like almost walk running. Do you know what I mean? Like when you start walking, I mean, I got scared, but I always get in my head and I start thinking really weird things, you know, like, oh, serial killers or whatever, okay? Well, I got to my car and I watched him because he was parked behind me. Now, here's what's weird about it, right? Is that when you pull into Ritchie Woods, there's like this parking lot that's gravel, and it has like, let's say, 15 spots that you can park in, that have like, you know, the parking thing in front of it. And then you walk up to this area where it has like this little house, and then you walk into Ritchie Woods. Okay. He was backed in to his parking space, like as the farthest one down, next to like this dumpster area, or I think it's a dumpster. He was parked over there, and he was backed in. Okay, so when he pulled in there, he would have had to have been the only person there and backed into the what do you call it? Backed into that parking spot. And so I didn't really think much about it even then. I just was like, kind of like, that's weird that he's backed in there, right? But then he came out of the woods probably like, I don't know, like a minute and a half after me, because I got in my car because I was so cold, and I have those Crocs on and my feet were frozen and freezing and whatever. So I noticed that he walked over to his car, he went to the passenger side, he had something in his pocket, he took it out of his pocket, he threw it in the back of the pickup truck. And then this Jeep behind me is like dying to go around me. Just go around me. We're getting ready to go on the roundabout anyway, okay? Anyway, I guess he's not gonna do that. So he threw something in the passenger side of the back of the truck. Like he threw it in the back of the pickup truck. It was like this little red pickup truck. It wasn't like a big one. It was like this little red pickup truck. And then I noticed that he was standing by the passenger side door, and I had like looked down because I was like taking off my scarf because it was all covered in snow and stuff like that. And I had locked my door, and I turned and I like looked back, and he was looking right back at me through the window, like through the passenger side window, but he wasn't getting into his car. And I was like, this is so weird. And so then, there was like another car parked in there too that I hadn't seen before. And I don't remember if it was there before or after, but it was like covered with snow and stuff. So it had, I didn't see anybody else in there. It was the weirdest thing, you guys. So I just hauled it out of there because I was like, this is so weird at this point. I didn't think anything about it, right? Then I got a comment. I was talking about it on my vlog the next day because I had told, I can't remember who I told. Maybe it was Mel, I think. It was either Mel or Valerie or Tanya, because those are the only three people I talk to regularly. And I said, oh my God, this weirdest thing happened. Like when I was, after I filmed, I think it was Valerie, because Valerie was like, I loved that video. She was like, that's one of my favorite videos of yours that you've ever done. And I said, really? And she was like, yeah, it was just so peaceful and serene, and I love that video. And I said, do you know what's so weird about that is I said, let me tell you what happened at the end of the video that I didn't show on the video. And so I was telling her all about it, right? And she was like, Peter, you need to be careful. She was like, I know that you don't think about that stuff. I said, no, I do think about that stuff. She's like, yeah, but you always think about it in terms of like books and stuff like that. You don't think it's like real. Well, then I mentioned it on my vlog. I talked about it, and somebody commented and said, so whoever you are, thank you for getting my mind going, said, you need to be really careful. That could have been the Delphi killer because he's still loose, right? And I was like, when I read the comment, I was like, seriously? Like, there's no way that this is like, you know, the Delphi killer and blah, 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 right? Okay. So then I'm watching this documentary, and they're talking about this stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at the picture of this guy that they have, and I'm like, this guy in the woods was built exactly the same. Like, exactly the same. And kept his head down the whole time. Couldn't see his head. And, had his hands in his pockets. Had a sweatshirt underneath the jacket. I could see that. And I was like, I mean, it wasn't like an identical outfit, but it was a similar outfit. And then I was like, why did he park his pickup truck? And let's just say, even if it wasn't have any connection to this anyway, it still was weird to me, okay? Somebody also said that I should call the police, is what they said. And I was like, but what would I tell them? That I saw some kind of weird guy up in the woods that were two woods. So, but then I was like, it's a snowy day, in the middle of the day, there's nobody there, okay? Nobody. There's literally, it was me and one other family. I've gone in there before when every parking space has been taken, okay? So I'm like the day that I went there, I think I've only ever been in there like once or twice before. Well, I filmed my cheesecake video there, what I did for my review channel, and there were a lot of people there that day. The fall, there's always a lot of people there. It was me and this couple, and I don't even know where the other car came from. It was this small little car, and it was covered with snow when I came out of there. It could have been there, and I never saw it before. Like, I don't remember seeing it, maybe. When I came out of the woods, I was like, where'd that car come from? So, because I was trying to figure out which car was his. So, I'm like, why did this dude back into, like, his parking space? Unless he wouldn't want somebody to see his parking plate, right? Like, his license plate. I was like, I can't imagine why else she would back into that, if that makes sense. Like, it's a gravel parking lot. His was literally the farthest from the entrance, so you would have to walk the farthest if you parked there, unless he worked there. But he didn't look like anybody that worked there. I mean, to be real honest, like, he didn't look in that great a shape to be like working in a park and whatever. I don't know. He didn't have any security things on, nothing like that. I mean, he just looked like a totally normal guy walking through the woods. And I guess even that, like, I didn't even really think much about it at the time, like, that was kind of weird. That in the middle of a Monday afternoon, while we were having a snowstorm, this guy was just randomly walking through the woods, you know? Like, for no reason whatsoever. I mean, maybe people do. Hell, I don't know. Like, that's just, I wouldn't think that. I mean, even when I told people that I walked out there that day to film that video, people were like, it was so cold. What were you doing out there that day? Let alone, you know, in Crocs and stuff. So anyway, then, of course, my true crime mind starts spinning, and I'm like, do you know what's weird about this? I'm in a state park. This happened to them in a state park. It's basically the anniversary, okay, of these girls being murdered. They were found on the 14th. It's the 15th of February, because it was the Monday after Valentine's Day. It was that weekend. So, I don't know. And then, like, they talked in this documentary about him being about control and wanting control and power, and that, like, they did this press conference, and they thought, oh, look at this. You can see on this hill up here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like, well, now you can't see it. Here, I'll have to back up. I'm in this church parking lot. But, can you see that? You can see where, like, kids were, like, walking up that hill to go sledding. Isn't that cute? Anyway, and that the sheriff said during the press conference that he might have been in that room, you know, because of all this kind of stuff. And I thought, and then they said the possibility of him doing it again was very great. And I thought, this parking lot has not been cleaned off at all. There's like, it stopped. Anyway, I was saying that the parking lot hadn't been cleaned off at all. It was really weird. Like, none of that was clean. But anyway, they were, you know, they were saying the possibility of him doing this again was pretty good, you know? And I was like, how do you get out of here now? So then, of course, my mind starts spinning, and I'm like, okay, let's just play what if for a second. Just what if possibly this guy is the same guy, and he was down here, like, on the 4-year anniversary. I just was completely spooked in retrospect, and I was like, I am not walking into that woods again. But now, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to go back there and just sit in my car and see if he comes back, and see if I see that guy with the red truck. Because if he comes and he parks there and he just like walks in, like, hell, I'll make Tanya go with me. And if I see him walking in, I'll just be like, hey, excuse me, do you work here? And if he says, you know, like, well, you want to know, I'll just like, hell, I'll haul out of there. You know what I mean? You'll never see me at Richie Woods again. But, you know, if he says yes, then I'll know that he works there. And if he says no or whatever, you know, I'm just walking in the woods, I'll be like, this is weird. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't feel that way if it was like a normal fall or summer day where it's like, 'cause it's beautiful in there. But like, it's not an easy walk in the winter unless you have like boots on. He didn't have boots on. He didn't, well, I don't know what kind of shoes he had on, but he didn't have like big boots on, or I would have noticed that. I almost kind of feel like he had like gym shoes on or something like that. I don't know. But even if it has no connection to that case whatsoever, which it probably doesn't, don't you think that's still rather freaky? Like I do. It freaked me out completely. Like the more I thought about it. And now when I drive by there, I'm just like, I don't know, it just kind of completely freaks me out. So I watched that documentary, and then, since I was already watching TV, I was gonna watch the last 2 episodes of Hell in the Heartland, the Jax Miller documentary based on her book. But I think because we don't know, well, first of all, we have to pick a book for March. Mel and I have like, she's been looking, I've been looking, we're having a really hard time coming up with a book for March. The one that we had, the problem is it doesn't come out until the 9th. And so people that want to buy it or get it from the library or whatever, it's like, that's not going to be an option. So we're going to make it the April book. What was I going to say? No, I can't remember what I was gonna say. So we need to pick that, but we don't know when we're doing the book club yet. It'll either be next weekend or probably the weekend after, like the first week of March. I don't know yet. So I really don't want to watch the last 2 episodes until like the night or 2 before. Probably like the night before we do the book club, because I want it fresh in my mind, like the case, because it's so far out from me reading the book. Because I usually read the book close to when we do the book club, and then it's like real fresh in my mind. And I don't think this is like a book that I'm gonna like, or you know, a case that I'm gonna forget specific things about, because it's very specific in nature when you're reading it. But I also want it to be very clear in my head. So I think I'm gonna save those last 2 episodes till then. We'll just see. But I did not expect to like this Dean Koontz book, and I almost, so when that was done last night, I was listening to my Dean Koontz book, and I like almost couldn't stop listening to it. It was so good. Like I was like, okay, just a little bit more, I'm gonna listen to a little bit more, stay up a little bit longer. It was so good, you guys. So I'm almost halfway through. I'm at like the 4-hour mark on it. It's like 9.5 hours. Oh, no, that's not true. It's like 11 hours. It's so different than I thought. I mean, it's about quantum physics and parallel universes, but it's different than I thought it would be. And it's more emotionally written than that, so it's deeper than just about that. It's really good. It's really, really good. I would highly recommend it to anybody. If you want to read it with me, go to your grocery store. It just came out in October of 2020, so you can probably get it at your grocery store or your local bookstore, or get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and you can, or Thrift Books or whatever, or Audible. Get it and, you know, read it with me. It's really good. It's kind of nice, like sometimes I like to just I miss kind of like reading just mindless stuff sometimes, you know, like I think the cozy mystery thing helped me get back into that. And definitely reading like John Grisham's Camino Island and Camino Winds helped me with that as well. I want to read some more John Grisham because I used to love him back in the day. It's kind of fun reading this, and it's just like not having to think much. Somebody literally tonight on Twitter recommended to me, I should look and see who it is, but they recommended this book to me called, it's a cozy mystery series, and I want to say it's by Lorena Barrett. It's something Barrett. And it's called like the bookstore cozy mysteries or something. And I don't know what the first one is called. I can't remember. Something in, I don't know. I just screenshot it and then I went on Audible and I looked it up. Well, I read it first on Goodreads to see what it was about. It's about this woman that moves it's always about somebody moving to some town. And she moves to this town, which I love. I love that whole theme of that. I want to write a cozy mystery series so bad, you guys have no idea. And I actually have a really good idea for one. I mean, they're all kind of similar. But it's about this woman that moves to this town in New Hampshire. And there are, like, there's this whole street of bookstores. And so she opens a mystery bookstore. And this woman that owns the cookbook store, she finds her murdered. And so that's the first mystery. Well, people recommend cozy mysteries all the time to me, and I'm always kind of like, I don't know. Like, I read the first one, and then I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna love this so much, right? And but there's just kind of like a sweetness and an ease about them, and they do make you feel so completely cozy that I just really enjoy them. You know what? The one I need to go back and see who it is, because I really, really, really it's like one that I can't get out of my head, and I really liked, was the one about the woman that was married and she worked at the call center. I need to look that one up, because that was like one of my favorite, and her boss is killed. That was like one of, like, every time I think about cozy mysteries, I kind of always, other than the Misfortune series, I always go to that one in my head. But anyway, I go to this audiobook tonight of this book. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, I'll tell you in a second. And it's narrated by Cassandra Campbell, who narrates the Misfortune books. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited, because like I love her narration. And she has 15 books in the series. So I downloaded the first book because I was like, okay, I'm really excited about this. So, yeah, I'm going to start that book. Maybe after this, I've got a couple books I want to read. I want to read well, I've got a couple Gina DeLeon books, like Mudbug at 40, I think is one of them, and another one I have. Like, I have another series of hers to read. I've heard they're not as good, but I want to read them anyway. And then the Janet Ivanovich series, and the One for the Money, I read that one. I've got Two for the Dough. And then the Alison Brooks Haunted Library series, I want to read those. I want to do like some cozy mysteries and then this one that I was talking about, like, because I kind of miss doing the cozy mystery things. It's so relaxing for my mind, you know. And then I come home and, you know, I light some candles and I make the bed real nice and, you know, get cozy with the dogs and Alex. And it just like, I feel like it relaxes my mind. But it's just scary enough because the mysteries are good mysteries, you know, but they're just scary enough that they're not too scary. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I need to take my car through the wash because there's snow and ice hanging on the underside of my car. And so it's like all up by the tires. A lot of it, like I have some of it I kicked off, but then when I turn, it like, you can hear it like grating on there. Plus, it's like, there's like snow and ice and dirt all over my car. My car is so dirty on the outside right now, I need to clean it off. So if I do that, I need to clean the kitchen too, is another thing I need to do. My area where like my little desk is such a mess. It is such a mess. Whew. What's going over here? Oh, they pulled somebody over in the... Looks like somebody's trying to steal a car from this little car lot over there. That's not very nice. There is not a car out on the road tonight, man. I've seen about 3 or 4 since I've been out, and I've been all over the place. I need to clean up my closet and go through everything again. I went through and, you know, about, gosh, 6 months ago and cleaned out my closet and got rid of so many clothes and donated them and stuff. And I need to go through it again and re-go through my clothes. I need to go through my clothes again because, you know, there were things that I was keeping back then that I probably wouldn't keep today, you know? So I need to go through. There's also like, I have a lot of jeans and like corduroy pants and stuff that I think I might want to turn into like shorts for the summer. So I need to go and look at those and see which ones I would keep and turn into just shorts for the summer because I love like cut off shorts. And then I need to clean out my whole closet and do all that again. And then I also need to clean out the kitchen, that my desk area. Well, part of the problem is I have like 20 graphic novels all like stacked up on top of each other in 2 piles because I was going to do this graphic novel video and then I was going to put them away. And I haven't done that video yet. I've been putting that video off for like literally like 2 weeks. So once I get that done, then I can put those graphic novels away. I need to find a place to put my graphic novels because now what's happening is I'm just taking them down to the basement and then I'm just stacking them up in the basement. And I like, if I'm gonna stack them up in the basement, I might as well just, one of the things I really need to do is I need to go through my bookshelves and get rid of books that I don't care about or that I'm never going to read, and I need to donate those books because there's a lot of books in there that I'm never going to read or that I've read and I don't need to keep anymore. So I need to get those books and I need to donate them to the library or sell them to Half Price Books or something and get rid of them, because then I would have bookshelves that I would have a lot of room, and that would literally just take me an afternoon to do. I think I need to like make a list this week. And I need to say like, okay, like one day do the kitchen cabinet because it's like just one kitchen cabinet. And then I have the one above and the one below and then the drawers. And then one day do the below kitchen cabinet. And then one day do the 2 drawers. And then the kitchen would be done. Then our kitchen, well, where my Starbucks cups are, I need to clean all that out. And then once that's done, you know, so what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 4 days. And that would be so easy. I mean, dedicating one day just to doing the Starbucks cups, I mean, like, that wouldn't be hard, right? So that's 4 days. And then spend a day doing my closet. And then a day doing the library. And then once all that is done, then dedicate like the next 3 weeks to just doing an hour a day into the basement, and I would be able to have the basement done. What is going on over here, you guys? Look. There is something big going on here. This is like this old... What is this? Is this the hotel? No. There's like all kinds of stuff going on here. Oh my God. 4 cars pulled over a pickup truck. Not a red one though, a white one. Come on. Is it a full moon out tonight? No, not at all. I can see it right there. People walking around the streets, and that's the second thing in like a less than 5 mile radius where the police are pulling people over for stuff. It's crazy. Lock my doors. I don't want serial killers coming and getting me. Man, that zucchini and hummus was so good tonight. Our friends have 2 little pugs, and one of them is a 1.5 years. He's so sweet. Well, they're both very sweet. And the other one is 13. And the 13-year-old has like lost his eyesight, and he can't really see. And he gets very confused, not just because of that, but he gets just very confused. But he's just an older dog, you know, and he gets very confused about stuff. And so she had like put together like this cheese, you know, plate and stuff like that to go around here. Cheese plate, like, you know, with like little salamis and stuff on it and whatever. And it was like in the corner of their kitchen. They have a beautiful kitchen. It was like in, they have a butler's door out of their kitchen. Do you guys know what that is? It's like this door, like, you have like a front door, but then there's a door through, like they have like their whole house is like all open, you know what I mean? Like you walk in and it's like, hallway, like into their like, you know, great room, and then to the left is like kitchen, dining, it's all open. It's very cool, right? But off their kitchen, they have like this huge island in their kitchen. Right there is like, it's called like a butler's door, I guess. I've never heard that before. But it's like a door that goes out the side, so you can like leave from the kitchen and go right out. It's like a side, they have like brick steps that go down. Their neighborhood looks very much like Williamsburg, kind of. It's a really cool neighborhood. But anyway, I love this little door in the kitchen, and her husband's so funny. He's like, you're always so fascinated with that door. I'm like, I am. Like, I love that door so much. Like, I don't know. It's just like, you know, like when you start, and just like, I don't know. Like, well, we were like hanging out in their basement too, and their basement is like, it's like the size of our basement if our basement was done. And it's very plain. It's like, they have like the walls painted like this grayish, beige, and then they have like a big TV down there, and they have like a dartboard in the other area with like a refrigerator, and then they have like this L-shaped couch and a table in the middle. It's very comfy. And I'm like, I looked at Alex and I said, this is exactly, if our basement was finished, this is exactly what our basement would look like. He's like, I know. And I'm like, oh God, I really want our basement finished. But like, I always notice coziness about people's homes. Do you ever notice that? But anyway, she had come over a couple times and taken a couple pieces of, I don't know if it was salami or, because I wasn't eating off that, but it was like, well, I have a couple pieces of the cheese, but if it was salami, oh, she also had crackers with this mustard sauce that was really good. I don't know if it was salami or little pepperonis or something. I don't know what they were, but anyway, what is going on here, I wonder? Oh, they're arresting him. But she had fed him a couple, right? And I think her husband had too. And so he was standing there, but he didn't understand that, like, the little tray that she was feeding him off of was like above him, you know? And, you know, like he's a pug, so he's like this, you know, tall. So he didn't understand that, and that it was up here. And he thought it was like coming from this cabinet, like right in front of him. And so he was like at this cabinet and he was like trying to open it. And I said, oh, sweetie, I said, they're not in there. And she said, oh, Peter, he gets really, really confused. It makes me kind of sad. So she came over and she gave him another little treat and whatever. So I came upstairs to get more Diet Coke, and he was standing over there because it was over by the sink, like on the other side of the island. He was standing there, but he was like turned around, facing completely the opposite way from like where this little treat tray thing was, you know, of like cheese and salami or pepperonis or whatever they were. And he was like if the tray was over here in the corner, he was like over here on the island, facing the island, and he was like at this cabinet. Like, I was like, oh, buddy, you just don't understand. It's over there. It made me so sad. She's like, well, I think that he smells something. I'm like, I think his smeller might be off. I don't know. Little guy, so sweet. I think that's one of the hardest things ever, is seeing like your dogs get older, you know, like Tucker is not really looking older yet, but like with Boo Radley, like I really notice it. Well, I will say what's funny though about that is that the other day when it snowed, like when was that, Tuesday that we got, Monday or Tuesday we got all that snow, like Boo Radley literally was like leaps and bounds over these mounds of snow, just boop, 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 boop. I mean, he's so cute, right? And he loves to run in the snow, and he like went out in the street, and you know, like they had only plowed like at that point before like they came and plowed our streets, because like our HOAs, like they wait till the very last snow flake falls on the ground before they come in and clean it off. So there was literally just like where they had like plowed it down, like, you know, just this one little area down the street, and it was like this much. And Boo Radley, maybe one of our neighbors did it, I don't know, but anyway, it looked like a snowblower area, you know, but it was like ice underneath there and snow on top, and Boo Radley just like ran all the way down the street and ran all the way back, and it was so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, he is so darn cute. And then Tucker, of course, finds the one area of grass, which is like 8 inches by 8 inches, that's not covered with snow, that's soaking wet, you know, that like the ice is melted and whatever, and he goes right there and he poops. He has to poop on grass. It's so funny. Boo Radley just is like pooping in the middle of the driveway, like, what? Who? Alex said tonight, we were talking about it on the way home, because I said they're so darn cute, you know, and he goes, oh my God, he goes, we played outside in the snow earlier, and he said, Boo Radley had me laughing so hard, and I said, why? And he goes, because he went on top of this snow mound to poop, and he said he was on top of this snow mound, and his little poop was rolling off the snow mound when he was pooping. It was so funny. They're so cute. But like when Boo is like sleeping in bed and stuff, like I can kind of tell that he looks a little bit older to me, and it kind of makes me sad. It doesn't kind of make me sad, it really makes me sad. And I think this is a lesson from PP, I really try to live in the moment, not just with Boo and Tucker, but just in my life with my friends and my family, and try to be present, you know, like Tanya and I were talking about that the other night. Just the ability to be present is such a gift to give to your friends and family. Like, not to be on your phone, not to be, you know, like doing something else, you know, not to be like busy, you know, but to be present when you're spending time with your friends and family, like, is a gift that we can give people. You know, it's such a cool thing to be able to be present for somebody else. And like, have you ever, like when Tanya and I drive around, like we are so present with each other, you know? And it's just really, really nice. And you know, we were also talking about a little bit like when people are like drinking or they smoke weed or whatever, it's like they're not as present as they are typically if they're not doing those things. And so sometimes that's kind of hard, you know, like, I think like people don't really understand that with me. They think like, God, there's somebody else pulled over up here. Not so much like to have like a glass of wine or two, or even a couple beers, or even a couple cocktails. Like, that doesn't bother me if people do that. I have to tell you, like, I don't pass judgment on anybody that wants to smoke weed. I'm like, you know, I think most people that watch my vlogs and stuff know that I'm totally for the decriminalization of marijuana, and I have a lot of reasons for that. The decriminalization, I want people to understand that. I don't have any issues with it. If you can smoke it and recreationally and it not cause you problems, that's great. For me, I would smoke it all day, every day. I'm an addict. But I don't love being around people that are high. And I don't really have a lot. I have friends of mine that smoke recreationally, but I don't really have friends of mine that have to smoke, like, if they're with me, if that makes sense. Like, if we're gonna go do something, like, I don't have really any friends that, like, if we're gonna go do anything, I mean, this is probably for the last 5 or 10 years, that they have to get high ahead of time. Like, if that's the condition of where they're at with it, like, I don't, like, those friendships don't last a long time for me. Not because I pass any kind of judgment on it, but, like, I am a sober person. I think it's disrespectful to do it around me or before you get in a car with me, before we go do something, because people, whether they like to admit it or not, that smoke pot, are not, like, they're high. They're not really present. And I mean, I can spot it a mile away. Oh my God, this just went out. I can spot it a mile away. Like, I can tell you with somebody if they're high. And so it's not fun for me. Come on, camera. It's not fun for me, because especially if it's like a group of people, if it's a group of people and they've all gotten high and I haven't, like, I really don't care for that. Then I really do feel like I'm not part of something. And maybe that's what it is, and I don't know, but that's my prerogative, and I'm 48 and I can make my rules. But, like, if it's just a friend of mine, you know, and we're going to do something and they got high before, I guess my question is always kind of like, well, what's the necessity? Like, why do you have to get high before that? And you know, most of my friends, well, not most of my friends, all of my friends, I can't think of one exception to that. But like I said, I don't really have friends that smoke pot like that. I mean, I have friends of mine that may smoke pot like once in a blue moon or recreationally with some friend or whatever, but, like, I don't really have that many friends that smoke on a regular basis. I just don't. And, you know, but I do kind of look at it, like, with some people, like, you know, if you come home and you have a cocktail in the evening, you come home and you know, smoke a little, you know, hit one hitter a couple times. I kind of do see it the same way, honestly, right? But, like, okay, for the same thing, it's like, if I'm gonna go hang out with a friend and we're gonna, like, I don't know, go thrift store shopping or go to a movie or go to eat lunch or something like that, like, if my friend got in the car and had 2 cocktails before she got in the car, I'd be like, that wouldn't make sense to me either. I would feel like I'm gonna have to stop this. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sometimes when it gets out of focus like that, I just have to stop it because it's not gonna get better. But, yeah, but, like, if a friend of mine had, you know, right before, you know, I went to go pick them up, had a half a bottle of wine or 2 cocktails or something, like, I wouldn't understand that either, you know? I'd be like, do you think that maybe you could just, like, not do that before we go do something, since I don't participate in that, you know? Like, I think it's a respect thing, kind of, but that's just me. Here's another person walking down the middle of the street. What is going on? This is weird. But I think that people that, like, when people meet me and they're like, I'm sober and they smoke weed, and, like, eventually it comes out because they kind of, like, want to bring it up to see what I think. I think they're rather surprised that I really don't have any issues with it. And maybe that comes across as me having an issue with it. I don't care what people do. I just don't love to be in the presence of somebody that's high or, you know, whatnot, because I don't feel like they're present with me, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not just that. I don't love to be around people that, like, well, I mean, once you get kind of past that, then it's a bigger issue. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't say like, well, I don't love to be around people that have just, you know, like done acid or something, but like, I don't really have many friends at 48 years old that participate in that. You know what I mean? Like, it's, today for me, it's kind of like, it's one or the other with those, that when I run into people, it's not like the heavy stuff, because by then it's kind of like, well, I don't know, maybe there's something a little bit deeper going on there, but. And I've had friends of mine that like we've gone to go hang out, and they like didn't really, I think maybe, you know, like a newer friend or something, and they didn't really understand, and like they get in the car and I could smell it, or I could tell that they were high or whatever, and it'll come up and they'll be like, well, do you care? And I'll be like, it's not that I care so much, I just, you know, wish that maybe when we hang out together, you wouldn't feel like the necessity to do that before. Like, it just, I would appreciate that, you know? So we're kind of both on the same wavelength, if that makes sense. And they're always like, yeah, I totally get that, like, no problem whatsoever, you know? I didn't think it, you know, anything about it, honestly. And after I've said something, it's like never happened again. Like, after that, people are always really respectful of that after that, you know? But, and I think that's, as an addict or an alcoholic, in honesty, I think it's our job to set boundaries and limits like that, because a lot of people don't understand what you can handle and what you can't handle, you know? Like, I don't think it's our expectation, when we live in a world where alcohol and marijuana are as normalized as they are, that we should expect the world to stop for us. I just don't believe that, you know? And I think that I have to ask myself if I'm in a place spiritually that I can go, you know, like, there's probably in my sobriety been periods at, like, I don't know, 14, 15 years where I had less business being in a bar than I did at 2 years sober, if that makes sense, because I was kind of like, my mind was all over the place, or maybe my spiritual foundation, like when I had no emotional sobriety and I wasn't going to meetings. I was in bars with my husband. I wasn't drinking, thank God, but I had less business being there then than I did at 2 years, because at 2 years I had more support and things like that, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? So I think it's really our job as alcoholics and addicts to set those boundaries for people and say, like, hey, would you mind, like, maybe like if I'm gonna go somewhere, like, to somebody's, you know, like, well, it's kind of hard talking about it like COVID, pre-COVID, but like, you know, pre-COVID, if I'm gonna like go to somebody's house for like a dinner party, and they're just gonna say, let's say there's like 5 couples there, or 6 couples, right? Like, I can't go in there and say, do you guys mind not drinking tonight? Or do you guys mind not like going on the back patio and smoking weed? like I would never do that, right? But I do have the ability to say, and I always say this to Alex, like, if it gets to be too much, I want to leave. And like, I want to be able to know that I can leave when I want to leave. And he's like, yeah, sure, babe, whenever, you know? So I always have an exit route. Or, you know, like, because it's not so much about the drinking that bothers me, it's the, I don't know, it's the intoxication factor that bothers me. I just don't like to deal with it, you know? But Tony and I were talking about just like being able to be present for somebody else. And, you know, when I was using, I didn't realize that I wasn't present. You know, I thought, well, I'd have a couple drinks or get high or eat a pill, and then I'd show up for Thanksgiving or Christmas and I was still present. But the reality was I wasn't, and my family knew that, you know? And so today, when I'm with people, I can be present for them. I can, you know, listen to their stories, and I can nod and say yes, and ask questions, and be an active listener, and be a friend, and be a good family member. And I want to be those things today, you know? So there's a lot to be said for being present, I think. Not just in our own lives, but definitely in our own lives first, but also for other people as well, you know? And it's not just about suiting up and showing up for other people. It's about suiting up and showing up for your own life. Showing up and being present for the things that mean the most to you as well, so that you can be there for other people as well, you know? And you owe it to yourself. So, anyway, Ramblin' Rose, here I am, Ramblin' Rose. I'm gonna get off here now. And Ramblin' Rose, Ramblin' Rose, Ramblin' Rose, Ramblin' Rose, Ramblin' Rose. You guys like that song? Anyway, all right, I'm gonna get off here now. Hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. It's my day to renew and refresh. and get ready for the week ahead. And I love Sundays. It's my favorite day of the week. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.